Hi, my name is Theo, and you are listening to Between Two Trains. We bring you the best and brightest entrepreneurs in the North DeKalb area on the 1st and 15th of every month. Today, your co-hosts are Van Pappas and Eric Most. And now, Between Two Trains.
Welcome to another Between Two Trains. I am Van, your friendly financial planner.
And I'm Eric, your better business banker.
And Eric, we've got two gentlemen with us that I'm really excited to have on the show, Matt Weber and Justin Dyke, who have created a great brand called What's Up Dunwoody. And we're going to talk about their brand and their podcast, as well as what they do when they're not helping the city of Dunwoody. So, Matt, welcome to the show.
We've been on your show once before. We just didn't know we were on it last time.
That's right. So we broadcast an episode that y'all did with me on your show. So I felt like it was important to have y'all actually on the show for Between Two Trains. So Matt, let's start with you. You're a real estate agent in real life. Tell us what's going on with real estate during this COVID times.
Well, I just got in a couple years ago, and I guess it's 3 years ago. And so now it's just kind of ramping up for me. I've been as busy as ever. There's every time I list a home, it's the only house in the neighborhood that's for sale. And so it's kind of worked out well.
Have you actually made a sale during COVID?
I've got a couple under contract, and I just have a listing going live Thursday. So
does any of it have to actually do with COVID though? Like, are people like, man, this house is too small for me now?
Well, I think the old people don't want to sell their houses because they don't want people coming inside their house. And then, a lot of people don't want to go out, but the ones that do need a house.
But this is different than 2008. I know you weren't a real estate agent in 2008, but in 2008, with the financial crisis, we had an oversupply problem. I don't think that's the case now, correct?
Pretty much every recession, there hasn't been a dip in real estate, except for this last big one. Yeah. If you look back, there's like 8 of them, and I think like 7 of them, 6 of them, the real estate actually went up.
Well, I want to ask you, do you think, so I heard that more companies are telling their employees that they can work from home, and, we're doing this podcast via Zoom, and so many people are starting to work from home. And Dunwoody and Chamblee are really hot commodities these days because they're in town. People want to live closer to town. They don't want to live way out in the middle of nowhere, Gwinnett. Is that going to change if people are staying home, or are they still going to want to live in town like the demand is?
I've had a couple clients, or I guess one client that backed out of buying a place because she no longer has to work in Atlanta. And so she's able to live at the lake where she used to live, and hadn't bothered her at all. I think that, a lot of people are going to be working from home now, and the commercial real estate is going to really have a hard time over the next few years.
All I want to know, when I hear that, all I want to know is what the internet connection is like at the lake. Because if it's some sort of like DSL,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Depends on the lake, probably.
Well, we also have on with us Justin Dyke, and Justin has a company called pooldues.com. And I've listened to your podcast many times, and at the early episodes, you had to correct people who thought it was Pool Dudes, right? It's not Pool Dudes.
I think the community's figured it out.
I don't think they have. I think the way that I say it makes it sound like dudes.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, like someone's auto-corrected an email will just auto-correct it to poodles. So I'm trying to get poodles.com, pooldudes.com.
So
is there a lot of competition out there for pooldudes.com?
Well, one guy does.
You don't want to type it in. Don't type it in.
Yeah, what does that company do?
Well, it is. It's a real company, but they were doing like cleaning for pools down in Miami like 5 years ago. And so the guys had the domain for sale, but for some reason it's set at like $1,500, which at that price, I don't care. I mean, I'm not getting it, go ahead and keep it. So yeah, actually the COVID has helped me out a little bit because it's a whole integrated member billing, member membership, as well as tennis court reservations. So about a month and a half ago, I thought, well, maybe if we have to reserve pool time, I'll take the tennis court code and port it over and all this stuff. And it was almost like a joke, right? And then like every pool's been coming to me in the last month. Like, yeah, I think we need to really reserve time at the pool. So it's we've been building out a lot of features, a lot of stuff that is way different than the tennis court reservations. But it's like right now I'm working on a COVID 20 to release around March of 2021. And then, so that's in my freezer right now. And yeah, just hoping that business stays. You guys should have laughed way sooner at that.
Yeah, sorry. It took me a second to realize what you're saying. All right, listeners, don't fret. He is not going to release COVID-20 on us.
I don't know anything about science. So
Justin was really at the right place at the right time, releasing that stuff. And we were talking before the show started about how podcasts might not be, financially making us money, but it's the people that you meet, like we would have never met you otherwise.
That's right.
You would be in contact with Kingsley and Dunwoody North.
Well, and Justin got a piece of business because Eric and I are board members for the Huntley Hills pool, and we hired Justin to do our management for our pool. So,
and thank you very much. And by the way, it is true that you get to meet so many people doing this. And just today, I made a Facebook fan group for the Spring Cinema and Tap House because they're doing the drive-in theater stuff now, and they're really hurting. There's no new releases, and so when I made the group, you get the chance to invite all the people that and I'm just going down that list, and it's like house reps, the mayor, just people that discover Dunwoody, all these folks. I'm just like, this could be a really decent group for these people. And it's not really for them. It's just I think the community needs to kind of get back out to the movies, and this drive-in is a great way to do it. Unfortunately, it's only 2 nights out of the week. Maybe they'll do it more, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, all the connections you've made from doing this, because I want to talk about the brand that y'all have created called What's Up Dunwoody and how that has made a lot of connections for you. So let's start with what exactly is What's Up Dunwoody?
It was something I started to try to sell real estate. When I got into real estate 3 years ago, I just, wanted to talk about something where the whole community could get involved. All I knew, I knew a little bit about Dunwoody. Justin knew how to start a podcast, and we started a podcast over a few beers.
Yeah, I kind of egged him on to do it. I kept saying, for a couple months, right? I was like, you should just do it. Because you already had the Facebook groups, and they were kind of, getting a lot of people in there, a little bit of buzz. But
what's the topic? What's the focus? How do you organize the series?
No topic, no focus.
That's
whatever anybody wants to talk about. This morning we had 3 ladies on that were starting a boutique, clothing line. We've had mayors and city council members, and then we've had police chiefs. We had state house reps. Chris Carr came on. So we do a lot of the political stuff, but political stuff's kind of got us into some trouble. So
yeah,
as of lately, we've tried to stay away from that.
Well, it's funny though that you have done that, because I think you're always going to get in trouble, whatever you do with politics. But, I will find y'all listed in some really cool places. I think I was looking at the Dunwoody Convention Center website, and they mentioned y'all on that. And so y'all, I think, have done a really good job taking this brand and making it more than just a couple of guys talking into some microphones. The community is, really embraced y'all. I think, don't y'all even have a float in the 4th of July parade?
We're actually running the parade next year.
You're running the parade. So what, you're going to be like the Grand Marshal or something?
No, they just, Pam Talmadge is trying to get rid of it. So she gave it to me.
To you, not to me.
And I carried Justin right along with me.
No. I'm not part of that. I got booted out.
I guess it's me then.
Well, that's quite the event. So, you're 30 days out at this point.
Yeah.
How's it going?
No, right now we're hoping to move it to Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
That'll be a fun 4th of July.
The 4th of July parade on Thanksgiving. I got it. Yes.
I want you to send a turkey drumstick on a firecracker and just have it go off.
Yeah.
Well, but seriously, it is, you may not feel it, but as an outsider looking in, it is a really powerful brand that you've created. And I think it's more than just, hey, like I said, 2 guys talking into a microphone. You're connecting the community together and interviewing community people. Eric and I's podcast really focuses on the business community. We've occasionally had some politicians on, but I really like how you have sort of taught the community the history of Dunwoody by bringing some of these people on.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. I do like that stuff too. But it's also weird to like our focus is what's up in Dunwoody, and then with COVID, there's really nothing that's what's up, right? And you get into a bad pattern of with me like not updating our website, but when there's nothing going on,
Right.
like you just kind of go, other than our podcast, which we've still been doing, but even those, we've had to do through Zoom and everything. And then with the reopening, now the community is split about that as well. So the past 2 weekends, I was at Dunwoody Village. Porter Brew and Q has been putting on live music. And then you'll be like, hey, look, there's actually something going on that we can go to. And then on Facebook, it's like, no masks. Oh, look at this. Like I called the mayor 8 times about this event. Like, sorry. Like, we don't work for the city, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The city wants everybody to get outside. And Dunwoody's actually making ordinances where the restaurants can take their tables out to the parking lot, put them in the parking lot. Because, the council, it's all unanimous that they want people to go outside. Because, businesses aren't going to start back up again if everything's indoor.
I've been a really big fan of the to-go beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've texted the mayor quite a bit about that while I'm holding 2 of those beverages from La Botana. I say
La Botana, isn't that awesome? The large margaritas in the slushy cups.
I keep saying we got to do this for our restaurants, to get them back on their feet. Years from now, they're still going to be trying to recover, so we need to do this.
That's right. Just keep it permanently.
Yeah. No response.
How's your group going, Van? How's the restaurant review group going?
I stole that idea from you. You have
from somebody else. There's no new ideas. So
you have a restaurant review group in Facebook, and I know you own a restaurant too, a pizza place, correct?
Yeah, it's in Lawrenceville, so I don't talk about it a whole lot.
Did you find that was one of the reasons why you started the restaurant, because the review group is because you owned a restaurant, or would you have done that anyways?
Kind of. I just felt like it was a good way to get to know the community without regurgitating and vomiting my real estate on everyone.
Right.
And it started growing, and you just got to be careful with your groups. When you're deleting posts.
Well, I take an approach that I don't delete any posts, and I purposely I purposely made a statement at the beginning that we were going to be an open group that, but it had to be.
I'm glad you're recording this because I'm going to bring it up later.
Right. Yeah, because you're going to make a post that I'm going to want to delete. So far, people have kept it to talking about restaurants. Sometimes the conversation goes a little sideways, and they want to talk about masks and COVID. But
you let the owners talk about their restaurants?
Not yet. I told them that I wanted to wait and grow the group some. And then when we got to 1,000 plus, then I was going to open it up to let the owners start, talking about. So
we when COVID hit, I think we were at maybe like 2,500 group members, and then we kind of opened it up for all of the owners to post whatever they wanted to. So it was a bunch of marketing spam, but I think it really helped out the restaurants, and it seemed like most of the members enjoyed seeing what was up, like what was being offered at that time.
So literally for the podcast, you guys don't have a set criteria. You just crack open a couple cold ones and then let it organically develop.
No, we had one this morning. Justin didn't even know who we were talking to.
Yeah, I like to
go. Sounds like a great mom. Well, that's me half the time, Justin. So don't feel bad.
Yeah.
So yeah. Eric is definitely the Justin of my group here, and so Matt, this question's for you. So since I know you're scheduling those guests, talk a little bit about the experience of having to go. So we both started these podcasts almost within a month of each other. You have done far more episodes than I have, almost triple the number of episodes. How you go about getting those guests? How hard is that?
It's not hard at all. Most of the time people are asking me. And so it, makes it a lot easier, but like High Street, I've asked High Street probably 8 times to come on the show, and they still haven't. They keep telling me they're going to, but we've had when it's time for a election, there's a line of people that want to get on the show.
Of course.
And you can see Justin rolling his eyes.
No more.
Justin says no more politicians, huh?
Well, I really enjoyed talking to Melody Maddox. She was running for sheriff, but then, like if we were to talk to everybody that was running for sheriff, and I looked at that on the absentee, it was like 8 people. We couldn't have done that. It would have been boring too.
I think my favorite episode of your show is when y'all talked with Hayward's mother. That was very interesting to me. I enjoyed that episode a lot.
Gail Westcott. She was
talking about her.
Yeah. She was a reporter for Life magazine. So, for example, when the Beatles first came to America, they assigned one reporter to every Beatle. Every Beatle got into their own limousine. And she was the one that got in with Ringo. I mean, and great story. Her shoe fell off. Ringo got out of the car into the screaming mob, grabbed the shoe. And then 20 years later, she was at a press conference or something like that. And Ringo was talking and he pointed out, he goes, hey, there's Gail. I got her shoe 20 years ago.
Well, if you're going to be in a car with one Beatle, I think that would probably have been the best Beatle to be with. Probably the most fun.
I was about to say, and still alive too. Who would have pegged Ringo for the
as the one Beatle to make it? Well, no, Paul is still around, right?
Yeah, Paul's
we
still around.
We assume he's the real Paul.
But Gail's whole, so every single article that she wrote could be like an episode on TV. I mean, she was like a real life Forrest Gump, just getting mixed into everything. I mean, some of it was dark, some of it was like Oklahoma City bombing stuff, but then others were, things like the Beatles stories.
Yeah, and it was funny because when we first started the show, Hayward was kind of the first one to reach out to us, and he was actually like a well-known person in the community, like yourself, Van, and he knew what we were doing was going to end up being cool. And so he kind of reached out and offered to help us, came on the show a couple times. And, was it 150 episodes later, his mom came on the show. We had never talked about his mom before. And one day he was just like, oh, yeah, she's got some cool stories.
Well, and the thing is, there's probably, 100 other people in the community that would be just like Gail, just these amazing life stories. Maybe 200, who knows? How many interesting people are there really out there? But if we could find them, and so if anybody wants to email, contact@whatsupdunwoody.com.
So how often do y'all release?
I don't know. I've never listened to the show, so Matt would.
Yeah, Justin doesn't re-listen. He doesn't know what we're talking about. I edit them and I normally get them out. Takes like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It just depends. Like we recorded one this morning, then I'm gonna try to get out in the next few days. I've got one that's 4 months old at this point.
I've listened to Between Two Trains way more than I have our own podcast. I'm serious.
But Eric, we've done 160 episodes, and then it's been like about 2.5 years. So is that a little more?
Yeah, it was 2 years and like 4 months.
February, yeah. And then we also, Jennifer Betcher from the city also does like a monthly update from City Hall. She just records.
All right, that I want to talk about. How in the world did you convince the city? Because I have no luck trying to get the city to do anything that has to do with what I do. So how did they ask to do that, or did you say, "Hey, can you do this"?
I don't really remember. I think I just kept offering. I offered a couple times, and then she said yes. And then we started pissing some people off, and then she said no, and then we said yes. But she's a super sweet lady. I don't know if you know her. She'd be a good one to have on the podcast, really. She was a 11 Alive anchor, right, Justin?
Yeah, I think so. She's somebody.
Jennifer Leslie, you might know that name.
Yeah.
But I listened to that episode. She was a good interview.
But Van, it's probably smart for them to say no, because this is where we crossed channels too often. And then, so, if the city thinks of us as a mouthpiece for the city, then if we do something bad or somebody comments something on Facebook or whatever
they think it's the city.
Yeah, they think it's a city. So I said something about those the robot. What was it? The speed detector. Basically, it was a robot that was going to just a private company owned it. If you went too fast in the school zone, they were going to write you a ticket and mail it to you. And so a private company was getting 30% of that.
Yep.
And my thinking was, well, gee, if they want to make a little bit more money, they just say I was going 30 instead of 29, right? So there's things like that, and obviously the city approved it. And now the funny thing is they those are supposed to come out like, I don't know what, the week that COVID hit, so every school closed down.
Right. Yeah, and most of the municipalities signed up for that. Chambly did too. So
did they really?
Yeah.
But we just try to help where we can. If like Discover Dunwoody is trying to put out something on social media, I think we probably have more followers than they do on social media. And so, I offer to help. Well, I try to ask them to post into the groups as much as possible. And it's kind of cool when somebody posts a complaint into the group or just makes a comment, and then our mayor is the first one to comment back.
But I think for people it's an easier sell to be like, oh, I'm going to go these two idiots that are talking on a podcast versus the official city tourism channel, right? Because I guess they're a little bit more real, but essentially you're getting the same information from both places.
Well, we have come up to when we need to take a short break for our sponsor, and we'll be back. And when we come back, guys, Justin knows this because he listens to the podcast regularly. We're going to play a game called Can You Ace It, sponsored by our Chambly Ace Hardware. We're going to ask you some questions and see if you know the answers to these questions. So we'll be back right after this commercial.
If you recently got divorced, you may be wondering how to pick up all of the financial pieces. Is it time to make a new budget, new goals, and get a new game plan with your investments? What about the best way to save money on your taxes? Take control of your money future. Go to oxygenfinancial.net to schedule a complimentary meeting today. Go to oxygenfinancial.net to get started right now.
Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Kestra Advisory Services, an affiliate of Kestra Investment Services. Oxygen is not affiliated with Kestra.
Welcome back to Between Two Trains. We come to you on the 1st and the 15th of every month. You can listen to us on all your favorite podcasting apps. And it's time for the part of the show where we call Can You Ace It? And so, Matt and Justin, we know you know what's up with Dunwoody, but we want to see if you know what went down in Dunwoody. So Eric's got some questions. He's going to give you 3 answers to each question. You're going to see if you can pick the right answer, and we'll see how many of these you get correct. Eric?
No, wait. Do Matt and I have to agree on the answer?
You can do it how you want.
It's going to be tough. All right, here we go.
All right, Eric,
open canvas here. And Van, we got a special bonus question at the end of this.
We do.
Very excited to dive in. So, all right, do you know what went down in Dunwoody? All right, so in 2014, Damon Exum crashed his car into a Dunwoody patrol car. Upon approaching the car, what did Mr. Exum hand the officer? Either A, his license, B, a joint, or C, a beer.
A beer.
I was going to say joint.
Ooh, we got some dissension between the two.
Okay, then we're playing separately.
That's fine.
I'm challenging Matt on this. I'm gonna
all right. Matt's going with beer, and you're going with joint. So, ding, ding, ding. Matt is correct.
Yeah.
He handed the officer a beer after hitting the patrol car. So,
was it open?
Isn't weed legal in Georgia? I thought that would have been okay.
It is in Chambly, right?
Oh yeah.
It's decriminalized. It's not legal. It's decriminalized. You won't.
That was a good choice.
You won't go to jail for it.
But you can't vape in Chambly.
And you can't smoke a cigarette within 50 feet of an open window of any premises. So you tell me. I mean, it seems a little, two sides of the coin.
Well, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah. All right. So
I just want to know whether the beer was open or not.
The beer was open. He was drunk. He got a DUI. He crashed into the police car, and then I guess he was confused and handed the guy a beer, thinking it was his license.
He was trying to be a good guy. Trying to. All right.
But wait, for every person that has done the open container thing, right? Like if it's your first beer and you're just like, I'm going to go to the pool, I'll just crack this open now, right? You do think, if I get caught with this, what am I going to do? Because you can't leave it on the, in the cup holder. Do you toss it out the other window, the passenger side window, and just hope he doesn't see it? Or you just give it to him, right? You know what?
There you go.
You asked why we don't work too much with the city. There's the reason.
There you go. There you go. They're going to hear this episode and never want to work with y'all again. Forget about getting the police chief on your
worse than that.
Is this geolocked so only Chambly people can listen?
All right.
All right, next.
So Matt is 1 for 1 and Justin is 0 for 1.
Ooh, competition.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2. Last year, a vehicle on I-285 had one of its doors fly open and release which of these all over the Dunwoody section of the interstate?
Murder hornets.
That's his answer. That counts. That counts.
Either A, foam tomahawks, B, 175,000 worth of cash, or C, a whole mess of livestock.
I didn't hear about this.
Wait, are you kidding? I know it's B, but Matt, you can go ahead and answer the livestock.
He already said murder hornets. So
Dustin went looking for that money.
I did go looking for that money. I had to give me some of that cash.
You are correct. It was an armored car. The door flew open. $175,000 came out. It flew all over the Ashford Dunwoody area of 285, and over 50 people stopped and picked up bills. And the Dunwoody police chief said they had to all return them because it was a crime to keep that money.
You think that guy brought back as much money as he found?
I don't know. That'd be interesting. Did they get all?
I think they brought back like around 30 grand, and that was all.
So my
brought back 30 grand.
Yeah, my theory here. By the way, that opened up right by Georgetown Rec. So when I heard about it, I did go. I opened up the pool gate to the highway, and I went looking for the money. But I don't think 175 went out the back door. I think 30 or 50 went out the back door, and 100 went to the guys that opened the back door. Right? It's such an easy crime at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, because the report was that 175 went out, but we don't know that. If everyone returned and was honest, like the police chief said, and they only got 30,000, where's the rest of that money? Because Justin didn't find it lying on the road next to Georgetown Pool.
They didn't find enough of it. That's my theory. They didn't find enough of it. It's an inside job. Who doesn't lock the back door of the armored car? I mean, doesn't it auto lock?
All right, so we're each 1 for 1. We're tied up here. Eric, let's go for number 3.
All right. In 2008, Dunwoody formally became a city. The unofficial mother of the city of Dunwoody is...
Oh, Justin, you don't know it, do you?
Oh, I know
Mayor Lynn Douche, B, Bev Wingate, or C, Meredy Shortle.
We both know that one.
B. Wait, it's B, right?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Matt to say something.
I'm going to go B.
All right, you are correct. I would hope y'all know that because she was on your show. In fact,
I think
2
that's
episodes with her.
Pretty sure that's my favorite show.
Yeah.
She was a two-parter.
I don't know the history there. Why is she the mother of Dunwoody?
Her and Shortle kind of put together everything. They were the ones leading the charge for Dunwoody. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The formation, because Dunwoody was obviously an area for many years, even when I was growing up in the area, but they had to really struggle to get that to become an incorporated city, and she was one of those leading that charge.
Yep.
So. All right, so
title, Mother of Dunwoody.
We each are 2 and 1, each of us, so we're still tied. So let's go to the bonus question. I'm glad we made this bonus question, Eric.
This is the tiebreaker.
This will be the tiebreaker.
This is a fun one. All right. Which one of these famous people was a Dunwoody High School graduate? Either A, Jason Carter, former state senator and grandson of Jimmy Carter. Either B, comedian Chris Tucker, or C, Ryan Seacrest.
Well, that was an easy one too.
Yeah, that's too easy. C.
Oh, you are correct.
Eric, me and Justin are actually in-laws. And so it's pretty much anything that he knows, I know. And I think we know each other well enough to know. I knew which ones he would get.
Yeah, that's true.
I figured you'd get caught up on the Jason Carter, thinking that maybe he was in the area. He actually went to Decatur. He was a Decatur graduate.
When we were interviewed for, it was Atlanta Magazine, they did the Best of Atlanta, and they picked us for the podcast part. And that was one of the questions they printed was, who would your dream guest be?
And you said Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah. Only because I couldn't think of anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, y'all got to be extra careful, not just with the city of Dunwoody, but also on the home front too, on y'all's podcast. It's quite the dynamic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we try to get my sister Matt's wife on every once in a while because she's a little bit of a wild card. Let's put it that way. But
you've had your wives on the show. I've heard your wives on the show. Yeah, those are fun. Eric, we need to do that. You think Caroline would come on the show?
We would need to take a page out of What's Up Dunwoody's book and get a little alcohol in us.
I think that's what happened with their episode. Didn't you? Y'all were drinking in your backyard or something.
The first three.
All right, so I'm glad you brought up the first three because I don't think those are published anymore, right? There's some unpublished episodes.
Yeah, you're right. We have lost episodes.
Lost episodes. How do we bring those out of? Those are going to be like worth something.
Going to be on the
day.
VIP subscription service, man.
Oh, you got to sign up for the VIP service.
The Patreon account.
Yeah.
They just gave us a taste.
Right.
We recorded 3 that first night, and then when you know how it is, you re-listen to your own voice, and you're like, "Oh, we sound like idiots." So we recorded 3 more, and the same thing happened. We sounded like idiots again, and
157 episodes later, you still sound the same.
Yeah. Now we're on other people's shows, sounding like idiots.
Yeah. We sound worse now.
Well. Fellas, I really appreciate y'all coming on the show. It meant a lot to me that y'all would come on here. You don't know how much I think the world of what y'all are doing. I love the What's Up Dunwoody brand. We need to create a What's Up Chambly brand. And
I've got one. You can have it.
You've got What's Up Chambly?
Yep, you can have it.
No, we don't own that.
Well, I mean, I've got a Facebook page for it.
Okay.
The restaurant review group. And
is anyone in it? Do they post them?
there's a few hundred.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that existed. All right.
I'm stretched thin enough, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bail bondsman's calling me now, so I gotta really get sprung. Thanks for letting me call from jail.
Right. To get out of that beer that you threw out the side window of your car. All right, fellas. Thanks so much for coming on the show. And Eric, thanks again for co-hosting. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another great episode of Between Two Trains.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, shall we start this?
Yeah, let's do it. I thought we did. Aren't we talking about pools?
Just. And now, Between Two Trains.
Let's fire it up.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not worried about people touching the...
I was like, and now, Between Two Trains. And my mouth was right here. Between Two Trains. I was like, and now, Between Two Trains. And then pulled away.